All right. Good afternoon, guys. So excited. We've got our live video confidence training happening right now. So I'm just going to go live on Instagram at the same time. So excuse me just for one moment here while we do this so we can get our Instagram friends joining us as well. We are going live here as well. Very good. All right. We got Instagram rocking, we got Facebook rocking, we got all the places rocking. So glad that you are joining me today. We're gonna have fun with just a little bit of theme music here while we let some people get on and join. Today's video training is all about how to have your most powerful presence on camera. So if you are excited about being visible on camera, if you are excited about using video to build your brand, then today is for you. So thank you as you guys are hopping in and joining today. Say hey in the chat, like let me know you're here. Introduce yourself, and we are gonna have so much fun. So I'm gonna give just a couple more seconds here for people to be getting on, and we will rock and roll. So again, guys, just really excited to help you learn how to be super confident and master video and just thrive and like shine anytime the camera comes on. So that is what today is all about, and so glad you are here. Hello, Lisa, so good to see you. Thank you for joining. All right, so with that, let's pause Kanye here. There we go. Whether you're a Kanye fan or not, the man has got some good music, so always fun for some theme music. But yeah, guys, so go ahead and like pop in the chat. Let me know who you are, what you're looking to accomplish on video, why video confidence is important for you. And I want to really just honor who you are and that you're excited to grow your brand on video. So hey, Mike, good afternoon. Great to see you here. Yeah, let me know, like, what are you most looking forward to? What are you most interested in when it comes to using video to build your brand, to connect with more customers? What are you most excited about when it comes to getting more confident on video as well? Pop that in the chat and let me know as you guys come in, just so that I can serve you and speak to what your needs are. But I will say, you know, before every live, and I'm doing 4 of these trainings in July, so thank you guys so much for everyone who joined for the first one. It was such an amazing audience, and I really appreciate everyone who is here today and excited to learn as well. And I really want to honor where you are. So one of the things I always do before my trainings is I take just a moment to kind of meditate and get clear on what is the message for today? What do people need to hear? What is, for someone who wants to get more confident on video, what do I need to say? Because quite frankly, I think that a lot of the messages that I get, it's like they're not mine. They just kind of, they channel through. And so I want to share them with you. And so what I really got today was that life is so much easier when you are visible. Life is so much easier when you are visible. And I think that this really applies for anyone who is either a business owner who is in charge of generating sales, whether it's your own business, whether it's somebody else's, but it's like when you are seen, when you are known, when you are trusted already, things get so much easier for you. So give me a thumbs up, give me an amen if you agree. Hi, Ashley, really glad to have you here. I'm on both Facebook and Instagram. I know I've got Facebook here, I've got Instagram here, so you guys are gonna hear me referencing back and forth. But, you know, it's funny, I was having a conversation yesterday with a guy who is really like my ideal client, has a big business, has done a great job building it. Sorry, I've got the lawn guys going outside right now, so hopefully that's not too distracting. This is the joy of live video, is that things happen. But you know, he's really my ideal client, and he and I initially connected like years ago, and we've been kind of going back and forth, and he's been following me on social, and then yesterday we finally connected for our first discovery call, and he said, you know, I feel like I already know you. He said, I feel like I already, like, I've been following your stuff, I've been watching your videos, I listened to your podcast, and I feel like I already know you. And because he felt like he already knew me, the process of us doing business together has been expedited and speeded up so much because he's been building a relationship with me all along. And for any of you who are business owners in charge of generating opportunities or sales, you being visible, you being in front of a camera really is one of the fastest and best ways to shorten that sales process. It's one of the fastest and best ways to shorten the relationship building process as well, where people can really get to know who you are, what you're all about, where your heart is, and really connect and decide if they want to work with you or not. So it's really just about making things easier for yourself. And even though in the short term, I know for many of us, there's some discomfort with being visible, in the long term, I think it's way more comfortable to have a lot of clients, a lot of opportunities, a lot of money, all the things that we really want in our lives. And visibility, particularly on video, can help you get there faster. And so that's what I'm so passionate about helping you accomplish through these trainings, is becoming more visible, specifically on video. And so for today, what I'm excited to talk with you about is presence. How do we communicate more powerfully and more effectively when that camera goes on? So what I would love to know from those of you who are joining me live is, when it's time to turn the camera on, what's the first thing that goes through your mind? Like, what's the first thought? What's the first feeling? Is it a feeling of excitement? Like, yes, I'm excited to connect. I'm excited to serve. I'm excited to share my truth or share some ideas or insights that are going to help my clients. Or is it a feeling of like, oh crap, I'm nervous, I feel uncomfortable, I'm worried about what people are going to think about me. So I'd love, share in the comments, what is that first initial thought that goes through your head? Is it that you're excited, or is it that you're really nervous? On our training last week, one of the things that kept showing up that I thought was really interesting was this fear of judgment that so many people shared that they have, and the fear of other people not liking what they have to say, or thinking that they don't have an important message, or judging them in some way, shape, or form. And so because of that fear of judgment, they're not being visible. And it really breaks my heart when I hear that from people, because there is so much beauty in what you have to say, and there's so much importance in what you have to say as well. Ashley is saying, eek. Okay, thank you for your honesty, Ashley. I would say you are not alone in that feeling and in that fear. I have heard that from a lot of people. Does anybody else feel that way too, where it's like, eek, oh my God, I'm going on camera? Here's the funny thing too, is that to me, it's so much easier to be on video than to be on a stage, and I do both. In my career, but when you're on a stage, you can't take it back. And this is always the really funny thing to me, because I work with a lot of speakers who they have no problem at all on a stage, but when it comes time to create a video, there's so much fear and so much drama around it. And to me, you can always take the video back, unless it's live like this, in which case you guys are stuck with me and I'm stuck with what I'm saying. Okay, let me see. Mike is saying excited to serve, nervous about the process. Awesome, Mike. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and I think that's normal too. It's normal to be excited to show up, but then still feel a little bit of nerves. That happens to me. I mean, I think it's funny. I don't know how many of you follow the Allman Brothers, but my dad is a big Allman Brothers fan, and he talked about Greg Allman up until the day he died. Through every single one of his performances, said he always got a little bit nervous before he went on stage. And so I think there's always probably some little element. I just like to think of the nerves as excitement, like I'm getting prepared to perform. Kevin is saying nervous and not sure if it's worth doing as the owner who is not directly interacting with the customers. That's a really interesting point, Kevin. I'm glad that you brought that up. I mean, so the other business that I'm a part of is Brand Builders Group, and it's all about personal branding. And what we would typically say there to anyone who's wondering, is it worth me being visible if I'm not directly interfacing with the customers, is that in general, people will follow people more than they follow companies. So people, when you think about what makes us stop and pay attention when we're scrolling on Facebook or Instagram, it's usually going to be an image of somebody else, more so than it is a company logo, right? And so for most of you, you can use your brand and your visibility and who you are to drive leads and drive sales for your company, because when people know the owner, they're going to feel more comfortable. Even if they're never directly interfacing with you, they're still going to feel more comfortable because they feel like they know the person behind the company. So that would be a thought I would have for you, Kevin. Let's see here. CC Cello, my first video, I was incredibly nervous. The more and more we have done, I realized those who choose to watch will, those that don't see the value in my message won't. Yes, amen. Yeah, it's like when we can realize that the people who are watching, and hopefully all of you guys feel this way with me, if you know, that's okay, but the people who are watching you, they want to see you succeed. They want to see you do well. They're there to learn too. They really, they want the best for you. They're not there to judge. They're not there to hate. The people who are taking the time to watch really appreciate who you are. And so thank you guys so much for sharing all of that. Just super helpful to know where you're at and where your heads are at with everything. So I'm going to share with you, I put together 3 different keys to turning on more confidence and delivering your most powerful message when it comes time to turn on the camera. And so I'm excited to share those with you today. So for those of you who are note takers, this is a great time to grab a pen, grab some paper, take some notes. I'm gonna grab a sip of water. But I found that these 3 keys in the video coaching clients I work with, when they start implementing them, really, really help them gain more confidence and poise on camera, which at the end of the day means they're doing more videos, they're connecting with their audience, and they're generating the results they're looking to generate. And so the first key is preparation. It's simply preparation. And so I would, oh, it looks like we're paused on Instagram. Hopefully we're back. Okay, there we go. Preparation is the #1 key. So for those of you who are here live, go ahead and type in the chat, like, what do you do to prepare? If you're doing videos currently, what's your strategy? I found that typically there's 3 different ways that people prepare or don't prepare for a video. So some people will just wing it. Other people will do kind of like light preparation, like an outline. And then there's this 3rd group of people that they want to script out the whole thing. And if they don't have the whole thing written out, they don't feel comfortable. So go ahead, type in, like, what's your strategy? What are you most likely to do when you're prepping for a video? Marketing department will prepare a list of questions for the day. That's awesome. Well, CC Cello, you have got a killer marketing department who's helping you with that. That's actually a great strategy. So I would say that's a fantastic approach. Here's what's interesting is oftentimes a lack of confidence simply comes from not knowing what you're gonna say. I'm seeing an outline from Ashley. Yeah, awesome. So it's like, the lack of confidence comes from simply not being prepared for what you're going to say. So I'm working right now with one of my clients who's a pretty high-profile co-founder of a company out in Silicon Valley, and he's brilliant at what he does. He's super smart, has created an 8-figure business. Is on the speaking circuit, doing all those things. But for him, video was an area of like discomfort and an area he didn't feel confident. And one of the biggest things that helped him was very simply just starting to prepare so that when he turned on the camera, he could deliver. And that was the biggest thing that was lacking, was he was showing up and he was just winging it. And now I'm not a fan of sounding super scripted, and I'm also not a fan of totally winging it either. Because if you're just winging it, and some of you may be at the level where you can, and if you are, then that's great. But I also think I've done it all the different ways, except I really have never done the totally scripted way, because that just feels really awkward to me. But I found when I totally wing it, I'll do a video and then I'll look back, or I'll think back and think, oh my gosh, there was this huge point that would have been amazing here that I completely missed. And so what I would recommend is a couple of things when it comes to preparation. First is just carve out some time, like have a regular time in your calendar where you're gonna prepare for your videos. So if you're doing a weekly video, then have some time carved out that day to prep. And it doesn't need to take you forever, but actually create the time in your calendar to think through, what am I gonna be talking about? And what do I want to speak to in this video? that in and of itself will make a big difference. Some of you are probably doing a lot of media interviews. Maybe you're doing TV, and you've got a couple of different video opportunities happening throughout the week. Well, if you just batch the preparation of it and carve out some time, let's say on a Friday afternoon for the upcoming week or on a Monday morning for the week up ahead, like carve out some time to prep and look at every time that you're going to be on camera this week and think through ahead of time, what do I want to say? What's the message I want to communicate? How do I want to get across to people? Like, what's the thing I want them to do as a result of watching my video? So that's the first thing. I'm just checking some of my notes because I do an outline ahead of time. It's just scheduling time to prepare. The second is beginning with the end in mind. So when you go to, anytime you go to do anything really, whether it's writing a blog post, creating a podcast, having a meeting, what is the intention? What is the end desire? When you're doing a video, it's what is the desired end action that you want someone to take as a result of watching your video? Do you want them to sign up for a webinar? Do you want them to write a comment? Do you want them to buy your program? Do you want them to buy your book, right? Whatever that thing is, what is the thing you want them to do? And begin with the end in mind. So really get clear on that. And then it's all about simply creating a video that speaks to that helps drive someone toward that desired action. And a really simple way you can do that, there's lots of great formats for videos, but a really simple way that you can kind of organize your content as well is just doing things in numbers. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time today on the organization of content. I'm going to do our fourth and final video of July will be more about that. But for today, kind of just like we're doing today, like 3 keys to showing up more confidently on video, or my 5 biggest secrets to losing the weight or getting your promotion or whatever that thing is that you're looking to build a brand around. So that's really it. It's just scheduling out some time to write that outline and think about what's the number one thing I want people to do as a result of watching my video. So I'm going to check and just see, okay, on Facebook, we've got Barbara is saying, I would feel excited if I knew what to say and how to say it. Can we use notes? If so, how not to be looking down at yeah, okay, awesome question, Barbara. So, yes, the answer to can you use notes? Yes, 100%. So right now with my setup, and I think you can do it a number of different ways, but I've got my laptop here and I'm streaming Facebook on the laptop. I've got my phone here and I'm streaming Instagram. And then I've actually got a second screen attached where I've got my notes for this call. Now, here's kind of what I do. Most of the videos that I do that I use to build my brand and to generate inbound leads, they're shorter videos. They're like 2 to 3 minute videos. I typically, I'll sketch out an outline ahead of time. I'll take just a couple minutes to do like boom, boom, boom. Here are the high points I want to hit. And then I may have those like kind of to the right-hand side of the camera while I'm talking. So I use the notes application on my computer. And then I just use Photo Booth to actually record the videos. So this is for pre-recorded videos. And it allows me, if I forget something, to just go back and check the notes. I think at the end of the day, like, people appreciate you just being honest. Like, people just appreciate, if you say, I think this happened on the last training, I totally forgot what I was gonna talk about. I was like, crap, let me go check the notes and just see what I'm even supposed to be saying right now. So people don't expect perfection. If it's for a shorter video, you may find that just outlining the notes ahead of time helps you remember it. But there's nothing wrong with checking notes or even writing them down on a piece of paper and having it next to you or having it down. Like, look, you can look down, be honest, be like, hey, there's 3 things I want to tell you about this. And number 1 is, number 2 is, and hey, here's number 3. So the most important thing is to do it, not so much to worry about it being perfect. And then I'm saying Takiri, hey Takiri, she's saying light preparation most times, but I've winged it and then regretted it. Me too. So again, the good thing with video is that it has a short shelf life. You can delete it. But the light preparation, I am a fan of that. I think that's the most effective as well. So by the way, welcome to everyone who is joining right now. Super glad to have you guys on. The second thing that I want to talk with you guys about, again, just referencing my notes here, is the second key is really environment. So there are certain things that we can do to naturally feel more confident in how we show up, whether it's in a meeting, whether it's on camera. And the second thing is really thinking about your environment. Now, there's a couple of different aspects of environment, and the first is your lighting. So, you know, the first, I'll never forget, years ago, I was going into sales coaching. I had just left my corporate job. You know, I was making 6 figures in corporate, and I was feeling really called to go and do sales coaching. And I left corporate, and I had like 6 months worth of savings to my name. And I had honestly no idea what I was doing, but I knew I wasn't supposed to be in that corporate job anymore. So I had 6 months to really make this work and make my new brand work and make my new career work, or else I was going to have to go back into corporate, and I didn't really want to do that. And so I was starting to just think about what are all the different things that I can do to become known as a sales coach, even though I had no clients, no background, no experience. What I did know was I knew marketing, and I knew that I needed to be known as a sales coach if I wasn't going to have to go back into corporate. And so I started doing all these different things. I started a local networking event for salespeople. I started attending networking events. I started speaking, and I also started creating videos. And I didn't really know much about what to do, but I knew that I had an audience on Facebook. And so I remember I started creating these daily sales tip videos for salespeople. And I put one up on Facebook, and it was, I would like to think it was the first one I did. I actually think it was more like the second or the third. So hopefully you will be a faster learner than me. But I did it with my back to, how do I want to say this? Yeah, so the light was to my back. So actually, funny enough, a little bit like this, like I have right now in my setup, but I didn't have any light in front of me, which I do now. And so it was just, I was like this dark, shadowy figure. I look kind of like Darth Vader, and there was like no light in front of me at all. And I went and I posted the video, and I was really proud of what I'd done. And I actually got comments from people that were like, hey, that video really helped me, thank you, which is part of what taught me that things do not have to be perfect for them to be effective. But I had a couple people privately message me and say, hey, great video. By the way, I couldn't see your face. And so just very, very simple, some hacks that you can use for lighting, because part of connecting with people and showing up more powerfully is being visible and being seen, and lighting helps with that. So I personally use a Diva ring light. So you can get those on Amazon. It's just like this big ring light that I keep set up right in front of me, because if I didn't have that on right now, it would be really dark. Actually, maybe I should turn it, hold on, I'm gonna turn it off so you guys can see the difference. I'm still here, but let me show you the difference in the lighting. Okay, so can you see that? It's okay because it's midday when I'm recording this, but it's like such a big difference when the light is on. So let me go turn it back on now for you. Yeah, so that's like huge difference, right? It's just having good lighting. You can also get little cheap ones. Like we use these at Brand Builders Group. Let me see if you guys can see them. They're little clip-on for your phone. You can do that as well. They don't have to be expensive, but lighting is important. The second thing is just thinking about your environment. So what sort of message is your environment giving off? The place that I'm recording now is actually a dining room. Funny enough. So when my husband and I got our new house, we moved into our dream home in February of this year. And I always knew I wanted a downstairs office. Now the house didn't come with a downstairs office, but it came with a downstairs dining room. And so I don't know about you guys, like I don't ever use a dining room. And so we converted it into an office for me, and actually the lighting is a little bit better if I face this way where there's a window. You guys can probably see the light coming in. But if I face that way, you can see the whole kitchen right behind me, which for my brand, I'm not a health coach. I'm not even really a good cook. So it didn't make sense for me to have a kitchen behind me. So part of what I did was just kind of switch everything around, be intentional about what's behind me. I'm a huge reader. I love just reading and consuming content to try to get new ideas to help my clients and to help myself. And so the backdrop of the books made a lot more sense. And then I've also, for those of you who are into spirituality, you know, meditation, you may have picked up on, it's actually over here, Instagram. You guys can't see this. Let me move it so you can see it. let me see, there you go. But I've got like my meditation bowl. I've got some of my Aveda intuition spray. So that's just a piece of who I am and what I'm all about. And that's behind me too. So it's really thinking about what's the message you want to communicate when you're on camera. Now, I'm a big fan of go mobile, like don't be tied to one location to create your videos, but I do think it's helpful just for repetition and for people to get familiar with you if you have one space where you're often recording and where people get to know you, and that kind of becomes part of your brand as well. So what's going to communicate the message that you want to communicate when people are watching your videos? And the final piece here is thinking about color. So this is super interesting to me. I don't know how much you guys have studied like color psychology and what that's all about, but I'm finishing up a certification right now to be a visual brand consultant. So you can kind of think about it like an image consultant, but it's more about what does your visual brand say about you? And it's so much fun, and it's something that's just like fulfilling a lifelong thing I've been excited about, which is helping people love the way they look and love the way they physically show up. And so one of the most fun things in this program was learning about color psychology and how much colors really do impact what other people think subconsciously. And so there's a couple colors that you can use as good go-to colors when you're getting on camera, depending on the result you want. So wearing red is a great way to communicate power and passion and to move people to action. So if you think about what is every sales sign, it's typically red, right? What are like fast food restaurants? What's the coloring in them? They're red. So red is a great color. I know for a lot of you who are on here today, red is part of your brand. That's an awesome color to wear to get people to take action. Blue, what I'm wearing, often it'll communicate more of like trust. It'll communicate peace or respectfulness or respectedness. So if you want to appear like stable, I'm not saying I'm wearing this because I think I'm unstable, though, who knows. Blue is a great color and a great way to communicate stability, trust, respect, all of those things. And so I love wearing blue. That's part of it too, is I like the color blue. So I like to wear it in a lot of what I wear, but that's a great color that you can wear depending on what you want to communicate. Orange is a really fun color. It communicates energy. It gets people excited. It gets them fired up. And then finally, yellow. It's friendly. It's cheerful. It makes people feel endeared to you. So you can also actually get your colors done. I had that done last year, and that was a lot of fun. And that's part of what got me inspired to become certified in the same thing, because it was really empowering to know what colors look good on me and what don't. Typically what I find is a lot of people wear a lot of black, and I was guilty of that. So much of my closet was black. Black doesn't do much for most people. So if that's part of your brand, that's cool, but just know that if you're trying to communicate a more powerful message and move people emotionally, black typically isn't going to do a whole lot to help your message there. White or cream, depending on your coloring, can look really good and can help you communicate a message of it's more like peace, stability, calm, but it's not good if you're trying to get people to take action because it seems a little bit passive. So those are some tips on colors and just thinking about what are the colors of your environment and what you are wearing. So I'm just going to pause and check comments. Barbara, you are welcome. Ed Stewart, so good to see you. I'm so glad you enjoyed the tips. Lavanya, where did you get color branding done? Yes, so I had it done through a woman named Kate Lesser. Her brand is called The Makeover Expert. She's in my hometown of Raleigh, North Carolina. So much fun. And then, like I was mentioning before, I just got certified in this myself as well. So it's like a blast to really know, or I shouldn't say it's a blast, it's empowering to know what colors look good on you and how you can use them to help build your brand and kind of communicate that subconscious message that you're wanting to communicate to your audience. So if you guys have any questions at all on environment, like pop them in the chat, let me know. Happy to answer them. And then otherwise, I'm going to move on to the third tip to communicate more powerfully on video. Oh, thank you, Lavanya. You're so sweet. Love you too, girl. So, all right, third tip of how to communicate more powerfully on video is to emotionally connect with people. At the end of the day, if you can do this, all the other stuff doesn't really matter so much. So part of what we have to get past is that you're not actually talking to a video camera. You're talking to people. And Brendon Burchard has this quote I love. He says, never underestimate the power of one. And so even if just one person watches your video or joins you on your live or likes your post, whatever it is, that's a human being. That is a life. And we want to always remember that when we're showing up on video, that it is a real human being on the other side. They woke up like you. They woke up, they probably thought about what they had to do today. Maybe they worried about money. Maybe they worried about their marriage. Maybe they worried about, job security or their health. And we have to always remember and really honor that it's another human being on the other side. And our most important job is to simply emotionally connect with the other person. That's it. And so a couple of ways that you can do that. The first thing is just really taking the time to get connected with who are you speaking to on the other side. So part of it is knowing, well, who is your ideal client, right? And those of you who are joining today who are Brand Builders Group clients, I see a number of you here. So awesome to have you here. And one of the things you've hopefully done in working with us is gotten really clear on who your ideal client is. And all the way down to having like an avatar, a specific person that you would love to work with. If you could create your dream client, here's who you. But if you haven't done that yet, it's really first thinking about who is your ideal client. If you could have your most perfect dream person on the other side watching your video, who would they be? And then getting into their head and really thinking about what's going on in their life. So I have an avatar for my ideal client for my video coaching. And one of the things I always do prior is I stop and I think about, and it's actually a he, not that I don't love working with my ladies. I love my ladies. You guys are amazing. Funny enough, most of the people who have worked with me in video coaching have been men. So I made my avatar a man. But I think about like what's going on in his world and what is he afraid of? What is he struggling with today? And I used to do this a lot when I was more on the speaking circuit, was like behind stage looking out and just noticing a couple of people. And before going out, actually thinking about, I wonder what happened for that person today. Because we get so caught up on like our message and our stuff and worrying about what people are going to think about us. But you can stop that by thinking about, well, what's really going on for that person? And what are their fears? What are they excited about? What would be their dream come true? Your person, maybe they're having marriage problems, or maybe they're really struggling with their weight, or maybe they're just really struggling with self-doubt and insecurity. That's what a lot of, like my ideal client, my quote unquote avatar is struggling with insecurity around showing up on video, and it's really holding them back from being more visible in the world and accomplishing their goals. And so it's taking the time and creating the space, like even if it's 30 seconds to a minute, to just sit and breathe and like feel into what your person is going through and what they need from you, and then just speaking to them about that. And if it's helpful, you can, even get like a visual image of who is that person and put it next to your computer or your phone, have it up next to you when you are creating your videos, so that you create that direct emotional connection with them. And it's really like you're sitting across the table from them at coffee. And just remember, at the end of the day, your person is just like you. I really find that helpful to remember that typically the things that we teach, the things that we sell, the things that we coach, whatever it is that you do, they're things you're passionate about it because it's something you've had to overcome in your own life, or it's something that has really massively impacted your life. And so if you can even just relate to, well, what was I struggling with when I was struggling with this? Or what's on my mind right now? Like what's on my mind today, this afternoon, as I think about my goals, my dreams? What are the fears that show up? What are the insecurities that show up? And speak to that, because that's really what your person needs to hear from you too. So that's the first step, is just connecting from the heart. And one of the things that I can always sense, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, let me know if you can, but when I'm connecting, I feel it in my heart. And I even feel it in my heart on video. Do you have that happen too? Like, comment below either yes or no. I'm seeing some likes on Facebook. That's awesome. Like, do you feel that heart connection even though you're just talking to the camera? Because that to me is how you know you're doing it right, is that you feel it, you feel the warmth, you feel the connection. And so that's what I try to go for when I'm creating videos, is actually just feeling that heart connection. But that only comes from thinking about the person ahead of time and being really clear on who you're speaking to. The second element of emotional connection is your actual physiology. So who in here has read Presence by, I think it was Amy Cuddy? Have you read, okay, I'm getting some likes, I'm getting some smiles, that's awesome. Like, if you guys have read Presence, let me know. But it's an amazing book. Okay, I'm seeing yes from Ashley, awesome. It's an amazing book on nonverbal communication. And I would really encourage you, if you haven't read it, to pick it up and read it. And it's gonna help you just master like how you carry yourself, both offline and online when you're creating videos. I had a couple things I wanted to share here with you. Yeah, like the first thing I think that's helpful with nonverbal communication is tapping into how do you feel and how do you present yourself when you're super confident. So I want you right now to think about a time when you were super confident within this past week. Like, what's something that you did? What's something that worked out really well for you, where you were like, yes, I'm on fire, like this is great, I love how I'm showing up, I love how I'm connecting, I feel the energy, I feel great, I feel confident. And once you have that, think about what was your physiology like in that moment? And what I mean by that is, how was your posture? Were you standing up tall? Were your shoulders back? Or were you slumped over? Were you smiling, or were you looking scared? Were you looking concerned? How was your breathing? Was it deep and easy, or was it short and shallow? And those states, so Tony Robbins does a lot of teaching on states, like we can actually get ourselves into a state that exudes confidence by thinking back to the last time that we were really confident and what that actually feels like in your body. And then breathing into that and kind of stepping into that before you go to create your video. And if you have just that calm, that presence, that easy breathing, that smile, not just on your lips, but also in your eyes. Wasn't it Tyra Banks who talked about smizing? I think, like smiling with your eyes. That's it. It actually comes through in your eyes when you are lit up about what you're talking about, when you're happy to be connecting with someone. So the nonverbal communication is key. Another thing that I think is really helpful for anything we want to accomplish in our lives, but especially video, is using visualization ahead of time. So the morning of you creating your video, or even 5 minutes ahead of time, when you're getting in that state and when you're thinking about the person that you want to serve, take the time to visualize yourself successfully doing the video, and take the time to see yourself on camera, smiling, lit up, excited, like see people giving you thumbs up, see the heart, see the engagement, see people sharing, see people commenting, see your ideal client on the other side saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much, this is exactly what I needed to hear. See that happening, because that's like what we visualize, what we focus our brain on. We create new neural pathways to actually create real things happening in our life through that. And so taking the time to visualize will help you create that scenario and help you actually bring that visualization into the 3D world that you were in, like bring it into your actual real life. And so that visualization is so key and so critical to helping you really connect and show up in your most powerful state on camera. Would love to know, do you visualize ahead of time before your videos? Have you ever done that? Or is that gonna be a new thing you're gonna try out as a result of this video? Like, let me know in the chat. I wanna know from you. And if so, do you does it work for you? Has it worked? Or is it something you're still working on trying? So checking Facebook for comments really quick. Thank you, Shakti. She says your explanation and expression is best. I appreciate it. Well, a lot of it is simply like practicing these things ahead of time and really do, like, it's emotionally connecting. That's what creates that presence and that connection with our audience. 2 other quick tips for you on presence as we kind of wrap up here. The first is really simple, but it's to look in the camera. So this is one of the biggest things that can trip us up, and I see it with my high profile clients. Just because you are successful in your career doesn't necessarily mean that you have mastered this yet, but it's simply to look in the camera, look in the actual lens. It is so tempting to look down. Like if I look down right now, I'm looking at myself here, or at Facebook, I'm looking at myself here. I'm not connecting with you, right? I just lost that connection with you. So instead, look at the camera. If you need to actually block out the video of yourself, do that, because you're not going to create that connection if you're constantly looking at yourself. And then the final is simply to smile. You know, there are so many, I see this happen with a lot of my clients where they have a great smile, a beautiful smile, whether a man or a woman, and they get so caught up in the creation of the video that they forget to smile. And part of what I like to think about is, if this was my only chance to ever connect with someone, if this was my only chance to ever impart this message, how would I want to be remembered? How would I want to be seen? What sort of a message would I want to communicate to someone? And I would want to be known for smiling. You know, I would want to be known for uplifting other people and making them feel good. And so being intentional about smiling and just remembering to bring that forth in your content is going to be so helpful, and it's going to help people feel like they like you, they know you, and they connect with you as well. So Lavanya, I see a comment from you. Okay, we're talking about visualization. I'm in a phase where I'm not visualizing and I can see I'm not making progress. But when I do visualize, it's a game-changing one. Yeah. I mean, isn't it crazy how sometimes something works so well that we stop doing it, right? And I've been there too, where it's, you know, you're on a roll, they're going great, and then you're like, oh, I don't really need this anymore, and you stop doing it. And then stuff kind of, it's not immediate. If immediately there was a negative repercussion, it would probably help us snap back into it faster. Oftentimes it's more of a gradual. But we start to notice, like, why am I not feeling as good in my day-to-day, and why am I not getting the results I was getting? And it's usually because we stopped doing that thing that worked well. So thank you for your honesty in sharing that. And it's definitely, I think it's something all of us strive to make more consistent. And it really is just such a powerful way to get greater success on your videos as well. Yes, she says, I will get back. Awesome. I know you will, sister. I know you will. So I want to just a couple final things for you guys, and then we will adjourn for today. The first thing at the end of the day is I just want to remind you, it's about passion. If nothing else works, if you can remember the why for why you're doing this, who your person is on the other side of the camera that you want to talk to, how you want to positively impact their life, and just let that come out, your hands can shake, you can sweat, you can stumble through your words, you can have no light on your face and look like Darth Vader, and you can still make an impact because you're passionate about what you're sharing. So just remember, passion trumps everything on video. And if you can simply remember that, and remember to up the passion when you're speaking, because emotions oftentimes get diluted on video. So you want to remember to kind of double the energy you would normally bring in a conversation. That's going to make a big difference for you. So remember just to bring that level of passion and excitement to what you're talking about, the same you would if you were talking to someone face to face, just amped up a little bit. 2 final kind of housekeeping items for you. The first thing is I shared this with you on last week's video. So for those of you who are returning, thank you so much. So good to see you again. For those of you who are brand new here, so glad that you were here today, and I so appreciate and hope that this served you. But part of what I'm doing this month is launching a program called Video Confidence Coaching. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I believe in just being really transparent with people. And it's like, I'm just going to tell you straight up about this. And if it's of service to you, then awesome. I would love to have you join me in it. And if it's not, that's okay too. And you can still get the free training and hopefully rock it on your videos. But I do have a program that I've created a very special, elite, private program. It's a one-on-one coaching program for people who really want to take their video skills to the next level, and they need a safe place to practice. They need a safe place to get it wrong. They need a safe place to have someone really help coach them and guide them to levels of mastery on camera so that they can communicate as powerfully on video as they do one-to-one or on stage. And so I'm super excited about this and super passionate about it. It's gonna sell out this month. There's 8 spots left at the time at which I'm doing this. And so I want to invite you to consider it if you're really serious about growing your brand on video and using video to connect with people. I've seen in my own life, like, being visible on camera has created a shortcut to all of my goals. It's helped me connect faster with people. It's helped me do a business based almost solidly off of inbound leads of people who say, hey, I've been watching your videos. I like what you have to say. I want to work with you. And there's so much power in it. And there's also a way to do it right. And there's ways that you can do it where you're not going to get as much success. And so in the program, it's a combination of mindset and then also just some straight up strategies. So it's overcoming limiting beliefs and blocks about being visible, because if you're fearing being visible on video, then there's also other areas of your life where you're fearing being visible. And that's holding you back, and it's going to stop you from accomplishing your goals, and it's going to stop you from making the impact that you're called to make in this world. And so I want to really help you kick that fear of visibility once and for all, and then leverage your newfound power and strength and just your desire to shine to really use video to build your brand, be known as a top expert in your space, generate inbound leads. And so we're going to be working on getting you just in the mindset of total confidence on camera, and then also creating a strategy for you to use video. So what are you going to talk about on your videos? Where do they need to go? Should you be using LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email, a combination? What do you say in your videos? How do you get people to take action? And so it's going to be really taking some of these high-level concepts that I'm sharing here and then making them work for you. And again, creating that safe space where you don't have to be perfect. You can mess it up with me, as many times as you need to before you start sharing your videos with the world. But I'm here to really be your secret weapon to help you just catapult to new levels of notoriety, of renown, and expertise in your space. And so if you are curious about that, I'll include a link below where you can check that out. And if you feel called, you can apply. You can also just enroll simply through the page, but I'm also happy to have a call with you if you want to learn more about that. And then the final thing is just next week's video. So it's next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And I got so many requests for how do you edit? And what's the tech for your videos? And how do you do all the more technical things with the videos? That I'm going to be doing a call for you solely on that. So if you want to start creating more videos, but you're like, I don't know what equipment I should be using, or do I have to invest a lot of money in this, or can I use my phone? Should I use my computer? I'm going to be teaching you some very, very low to no cost, low-tech ways that you can create videos that get you results. And then I'll also share with you some of the fancy stuff for those of you who are real fancy, because I know I got some fancy ones on here today. So that's it, guys. I just want to thank you and just acknowledge you for being here. I'm checking out final comments. Awesome, Kristen Hartnagel, may my message move people in the way they most need. Oh, girl, that's good. I love that. I know that's your heart too. That's beautiful. Jess, thank you so much. She's loving the message. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kristen. So good to have you here. And thank you, everyone who has joined today. I appreciate you guys. You have a message the world needs to hear. It needs to come from you. It's been given to you for a reason. And video is such a blessing. It is such a blessing today that we can use video to connect with people across the world, to impact people across the world. Like, we would not have had the ability to do this 10, 15, 20 years ago the way we do today. And it is both a blessing and I think it is a responsibility that we use it to get more good out into the world and to tell people about what we can do and how we can help them and to accomplish our goals as well. So thank you guys so much. So good to have you. So good to see you today. And I will see you next Wednesday. Bye for now.